Ide. Here. Jones. Here. Cole. Present. Landon. Here. Larson. Here. Love. Here. McEwen. Here. Nethercott. Here. Olson. Here. Pappas. Here. Pearson. Here. Rothfuss. Here. Salazar. Here. Schuler. Scott. Here. Steinmetz. Here. President Beitman.
Here.
31 present.
Thank you, Ellen. Prayer today by Pastor Tommy Miller from Faith Baptist Church here in Cheyenne. Pastor Miller.
Good morning, senators and staff. I just wanted to greet you and let you know that Faith Baptist Church has been praying for your session this year and been praying for our senators specifically. So we wanted to pass that greeting along. Let us pray together. Heavenly Father, we come before Thee in the name of Jesus, thanking You for Wyoming senators as Your word declares in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verses 1 and 2, exhorting us to make supplications and prayers and intercessions and giving of thanks for all in authority, that we may lead quiet and peaceable lives in all godliness and honesty. Father, grant them wisdom from above, as Proverbs 8:15 says, that by Thee kings reign and princes decree justice. Fill their hearts with righteousness, that when the righteous rule, as in Proverbs 29:2, the people rejoice. Guide their deliberations with Thy truth. Protect our state with just laws. Grant a spirit of agreement to reach a fair and equitable budget. And most of all, turn their hearts to seek Thy will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Senator Hicks, will you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Reading correction and approval of journal. Will the reading clerk please read the journal committee report?
The Journal Committee reports that the Journal of February 20th, 2026 has been read and recommends that it be approved. Senator Crum, Chairman.
Are there any objections? There being none, the committee of the whole, or the committee of the whole, it's not that time of day yet. Journal Committee report has been adopted. Senator Barlow.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours, sir.
Mr. President, it's a pleasure today to introduce young people from all across Wyoming. They're here joining us to learn about what we do here in the Wyoming Legislature. So up here above your head, Mr. President, in the gallery are 4-H folks. Many of you are in 4-H or had children who are in 4-H. So let me introduce first the 4-H leadership team. We have Addie Vasick from Albany County, Ray Lenhard from Bighorn County, they're standing. Elise Neff from Campbell County, Colton Walker, Sublette County, Shay Zaletti from Campbell County, Michaela Workman, Bighorn County, and Selden Little from Campbell County, and 28 other 4-H leaders and members and their educators, University of Wyoming educators from across Wyoming. So please welcome all these young 4-H folks to the Senate.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Welcome to the Senate 4-H. Senator Jones.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours.
I'd like to introduce my best friend Annie Wedgwood and her daughter Izzy, who are joining us here today. They might look a little familiar to you.
They do. Hockey family, welcome. Welcome Annie and Izzy. Izzy plays for the Laramie Outlaws hockey team and played with my daughter Holly on Team Wyoming, girls hockey. Senator Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. President. Up here in the gallery on your right, got a group of folks from Grable, Grable School District, that I share with the good senator behind me. I'd like to welcome them to the Senate. We had a nice tour this morning, and some folks you probably recognize. So,
welcome to the Senate. Going around the room, I see Senator Schuler, ladies first.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise today to note that this week is Wyoming School Boards Appreciation Week, and to recognize the men and women who serve on local school boards across our state. They're going to be, some of them are trickling in now, and I'm not sure where they're all sitting. But just a reminder that our school board members are locally elected public servants who give countless hours, often quietly and without recognition, to the governance of our public schools. They balance budgets, they set policy, they listen to their communities, and they make difficult decisions with one guiding purpose: to ensure that Wyoming students receive a quality education. Their work reflects a long Wyoming tradition of local governance, closest to the people, civic duty, and stewardship of public institutions. And I'll tell you, they've been a big help with our school recalibration. Appreciate all those that have come to testify. So on behalf of this body, and then on behalf of the communities they serve, I would ask you to join me in thanking Wyoming school board members for their leadership, their service, and their commitment to our students and our state. Please stand.
Here, here. Welcome to the Senate, and thank you for all you do, school boards. All right, Senator Landon, you got a motley-looking crew over there.
Well, thank you. May I have privilege of the floor,
yours.
Mr. President?
Yes.
First of all, what a hockey game, huh?
Amen. Here, here.
And, you know, I knew the president would be watching. We certainly were. Fellow senators, I would like to introduce you to Crew and Beck Bloom. And they brought their parents with them to the Wyoming Senate today. That's daughter Haley over here and my son-in-law Jesse. And of course, you know my beautiful wife, Robin. Really proud to have these guys in the Senate today, and I hope you'll join me in welcoming them.
All right. Welcome to the Senate. It's good to see some youngsters around here. All right, any more privileges? Senator Case.
Mr. President, thank you. I know I've had a lot of baseball on my mind, and I was really excited about having the White Sox beat the Cubs last Friday. But really, and we've had the Winter Olympics on, we've got ice hockey. It's been very exciting. But one sport we play in the winter in Wyoming is swim, and we have swim meets. And Mr. President, I'm very proud of Lander's swim program, and I want to tell you that the Lander boys just won the championship on Saturday for the 30th year in a row.
Wow.
Wow. And Mr. President, I know that we think about what it takes to put a program together that accomplishes something like that. The Lander girls, they're right behind them. They're at like 29, I think. So it's just incredible and how important sports are to young people and helping them to grow and to be fine adults. And I just think if we took a moment to savor something like that that's happening in these wonderful schools that we've created and that piece of it. And thank you for the moment, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator
Congratulations,
Case.
Lander.
Yes, congratulations. I don't know what's in the water down there in Lander, but it's working. Do they swim with those trout in Sinks Canyon or what? Senator Love.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours.
I see up here to our right, I have my Laramie County School District Number 2 Board of Trustees. There's a few of them hanging out. I see Chairman Ramza, Billy Wilson, Julianne Randall. They do wonderful things for our school district. I had the pleasure of serving with a few of them for several years, and so I'd like to welcome them to the Senate and all that they do.
All right, welcome. Senator Crum.
Yeah, I see our good city manager from the city of Laramie is here. I'd like to introduce Todd Fees from the city of Laramie. Todd, welcome.
Welcome. Yes. Oh, boy, everybody's got something.
Mr. President, may I have privilege of the floor one more time?
You bet.
Just a quick one, Mr. President. I just wanted to add to the fact that these wonderful family members are here today. And one of the first things I did was to take Crew over to see his great-grandfather. He's on a picture down at the other chamber and served down there in 1941. And he had 2 boys at that time off in World War II. Every time I look at that, I just think of the fabric of Wyoming, and it just gives you a warm feeling of all the people who have sacrificed to come down to this beautiful state capital and do the work of the people. Anyway, Crew and Beck got to see their great-grandfather's picture this morning, so kind of a cool happening already today. Yeah, thank you for.
Thank you. Okay, I do see Sheridan County School Board members up there. Do we have districts 1, 2, and 3 here today? We do. Would they please all stand, all the Sheridan County folks from back home, school boards, you guys are great, business managers, superintendents, everybody, thank you for all you do, and let's give them a warm welcome. Senator Barlow.
Thank you, Mr. President. Privilege of the floor.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. President, I know a lot of folks have lots of great people from their communities here. And we also know there's folks that have stayed home when doing the work when we're down here. So for 14 years, I've served in this body, and there's been somebody that's been at home taking care of things when I've been down here. Now, she has to take care of things when I'm there too, let's just be honest. But I want to, and she's never actually spent more than 2 days here at any one time, and I know many of you have that same experience with your loved ones. 4-H leader, 25 plus years, 4-H Foundation right now, Climb Wyoming, educator. I'd like you to meet my 9th grade sweetheart and my wife, Kelly Barlow.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you, Kelly, for putting up with them all these years. Not an easy task. And all the yak you have roaming around out there. Senator Grew.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too have some school board members here, and I just want to introduce them because not only do they serve with distinction and have come farther than anyone else, and they gave me this really nice coffee mug, I've had the opportunity to be in spirited campaigns against a couple of them a couple of times, and it's made me a better person, and I know we've always had fun doing it. So today, Kate Mead, Reed Dornan, and I don't see Keith Gingrey, but I think he's around here somewhere, Teton County School District number 1.
Welcome to the Senate. Senator Jones.
I know he beat me.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor. I also have one of my school districts here. I'd like to welcome Sweetwater County School District number 2, Dr. Cooper, and some of the Board of Trustees. Thank you very much for joining us today.
All right,
Green
Sweetwater.
River.
All right, Senator Crago.
Thank you, Mr. President. Privilege of the floor.
Floor is yours, sir.
Well, I don't want my Johnson County folks left out, and they are spread out all over the place. And yeah, well, we got the Sheridan County folks, which are also part of my district, and you already took care of that, Mr. President. But I'd like us to welcome the Johnson County folks. If you'd all stand up, please.
There they are.
School board and administrators, please.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. President.
thank you. Senator Hicks.
Mr. Chairman, not to be outdone by Johnson County, but I do not, with all these folks sitting up there, I represent 2 school districts in Carbon County and 1 in Sweetwater County. And if they're here, I just want to recognize that you're president, so let's give them a hand. Even if they're not here, they're back there doing the people's business. So let's give all the school districts a hand.
All right. Senator Love.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor.
Yes, sir.
So I did miss one earlier. I have a Board of Trustee member here, and Brittany from LCSD 1. So I want to welcome her. I didn't see any of the other board members here this morning, but thank you very much for being here, and introduce her to the Senate.
All right. All right, we have a doctor of the day today. It is Matthew Strang. Is that how I say it? From UW Family Residency. Come on down. And I have a little certificate of appreciation for you. And please welcome the doctor of the day. Yeah, I told the good doctor that I broke my arm in 2 places, and he told me, well, stop going to those 2 places. That's a bonus one. Today is National Banana Bread Day for all those banana bread aficionados, along with World Understanding and Peace Day. Senator Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Could I have privilege of the floor?
Yes.
With our doctor of the day, he is accompanied up in the gallery by 2 young gentlemen that are his sons. If you would stand up and welcome Dr. Strang's 2 kids.
All right, welcome. Standing room only in the Senate today. Popular ticket. Quote of the day, strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value. Albert Einstein. All right, the long-awaited dad joke of the day. Why do hockey rinks have curved corners, Senator Rothfuss? Well, because if they were 90 degrees, the ice would melt. So there's your hockey joke of the day. Announcements, we have a new page. Well, we had one. She flew the coop already after all these privileges of the floor. Before we get to Abby, today is the last day for second reading on bills in the House of Origin. Tomorrow is the last day for third reading on bills in House of Origin. So tomorrow's crossover. Ooh. And if you traveled home over the weekend, please remember to stop by the main office and log your travel so you can get paid. There's Abby right there. So Abby Odell, she's a senior from Cheyenne Central. And this week's student page, I have her list of accomplishments here, and it's long and distinguished, but I'll hit on a few highlights. She's a member of the Speech and Debate, National Honor Society, DECA, French National Honor Society, Girls State, Girls Nation, Outdoor Track and Field, French Club, and more. Please welcome to the Senate for the week, Abby. All right, take good care of Abby. She'll take care of you. All right, messages from the House.
From the House of Representatives dated February 23rd, 2026, message number 4. Mr. President, this is to inform you that the House has adopted House rules of the 68th Wyoming State Legislature budget session amended as follows. House Rule number 3 adopted. Section 1, House Rule 15-6 is created to read, suspending with further reading. From the House of Representatives dated February 21st, 2026, message number 5. Mr. President, The House of Representatives of the 68th Wyoming State Legislature budget session will convene on Saturday, February 21st, 2026, for the 11th day of the 2026 budget session. Signed, Katie Talbot, House Chief Clerk.
Thank you, Tom.
Oh,
No, you still got more? But wait, there's more.
but wait.
Wait.
There's more. From the House of Representatives, all dated February 21st, 2026. Mr. President, the following bills passed the House on third reading by the votes indicated. House Bill 157, Protection of Parental Rights, Cause of Action, ayes 55, noes 6, excused 1. House Bill 147, Property Tax Exemptions, Effect on People's Initiative, ayes 56, noes 5, excused 1. House Bill 128, Enhanced Oil Recovery Severance Tax Exemption, ayes 60, noes 1, excused 1. Message 151, House Bill 116, ayes 44, noes 17, excused 1. Message 150, House Bill 112, Riverton State Office Task Force Sunset, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 148, House Bill number 98, Prohibit Red Flag Gun Seizure Act Penalty Amendments, ayes 56, noes 5, excused 1. Message 147, House Bill 96, Carrying of Concealed Weapons, Age Requirement, ayes 58, noes 3, excused 1. Message 146, House Bill 95, Concealed Carry Colleges and Universities, ayes 55, noes 6, excused 1. Message 144, House Bill 84, Falsifying Election Documents, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 143, House Bill 83, Legislative Subpoena Penalty, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 144, House Bill 78, Forest Health Grant Program, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 140, House Bill 76, Exception for an Annexation with Landowner Objections, repeal, ayes 54, noes 7, excused 1. Message 132, House Bill 28, Sexual Exploitation of Children Amendments, ayes 60, noes 1, excused 1. Message 130, House Bill 25, Wyoming's Tomorrow Scholarship Program Amendments, ayes 36, noes 25, excused 1, signed Katie Talbot, Chief Clerk. Mr. President, the following messages are all dated February 21st, 2026, and the following bills have passed the House as amended by the votes indicated. Message 126, House Bill 1, General Government Appropriations 2, ayes 47, noes 14, excused 1. Message 129, House Bill 16, Secretary of State Expedited Filings, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 131, House Bill 26, Vehicle Registration Fees, Tribal Governments, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 133, House Bill 41, Wyoming Highway Patrol, DCI, and Warden Retirement Benefits, Amendments, ayes 61, excused 1. House Bill 135, Message 135, House Bill 44, Revisers Bill, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 136, House Bill 56, Carbon Capture Mandate Repeal, ayes 56, noes 5, excused 1. Message 137, House Bill 43, Anti-Money Laundering, ayes 61, excused 1. Message 138, House Bill 69, Department of Health Land Transfers, ayes 34, noes 27, excused 1. Message 139, House Bill 75, Virtual Currency Kiosks, ayes 56, noes 5, excused 1. Message 142, House Bill 80, Identification Cards, Renewal for Care Facility Residents, Ayes 61, excused 1. Message 145, House Bill 92, Sexual Predators Prohibited from Public Office. Ayes 61, excused 1. Message 149, House Bill 102, Protecting Kids from Deep Fakes and Exploitive Images. Ayes 61, excused 1. Message 152, House Bill 117, Stop Harm, Empower Women with Informed Notices. Ayes 52, noes 9, excused 1. Message 153, House Bill 120, Energy Product Reclassification and Sovereignty Act. Ayes 61, excused 1. Message 154, House Bill 127, Voter Approval for Recreation Mill Levy. Ayes 34, noes 27, excused 1. Message 156, House Bill 130, Second Amendment Protection Act Amendments. Ayes 49, noes 12, excused 1. Each signed Katie Talbot, Chief Clerk.
All right, thank you, Tom. Introduction, reading, and reference of bills. House Bill 10, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 10, Sexually Explicit Materials in Libraries Requirements, sponsored by Judiciary. Ayes 48, noes 3, excused 1.
House Bill 10 is assigned to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. House Bill 43, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 43, Anti-Money Laundering, sponsored by Management Council. Ayes 61, excused 1.
House Bill 43 is assigned to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. House Bill 28, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 28, Sexual Exploitation of Children Amendments, sponsored by Representative Strzok. Ayes 60, noes 1, excused 1.
House Bill 28 is assigned to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. House Bill Number 9, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 9, Grooming of Children, Offenses and Amendments, sponsored by Judiciary. Ayes 61, excused 1.
House Bill 9 is assigned to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. House Bill 8, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 8, Stalking of Minors, sponsored by Judiciary. Ayes 61, excused 1.
House Bill 8 is assigned to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. House Bill 117, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 117, Stop Harm, Empower Women with Informed Notices, sponsored by Representative Lawley. Ayes 59, no, Ayes 52, no 9, excused 1.
House Bill 117 is assigned to Committee Number 1, Judiciary. House Bill 36, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 36, Forestry Division Wildland Fire Modules, sponsored by Appropriations. Ayes 61, excused 1, engrossed.
House Bill 36 is assigned to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. House Bill 112, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 112, Riverton State Office Task Force Sunset, sponsored by Appropriations. Ayes 61, excused 1.
House Bill 112 is assigned to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. House Bill 122, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 122, engrossed, Wyoming Rural Health Transformation Program, sponsored by Appropriations. Ayes 57, excused 5.
House Bill 122 is assigned to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. House Bill 106, first reading of the House bill.
House Bill 106, Smoke Buster Module Leaders, sponsored by Appropriations. Ayes 61, excused 1.
House Bill 106 is assigned to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. House Bill 111, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 111, state-funded capital construction, sponsored by appropriations, engrossed. Ayes 58, no 2, excused 2.
House Bill 111 is assigned to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. House Bill 127, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 127, voter approval for recreation mill levy, engrossed, sponsored by Representative Nyman. Aye 34, no 27, excused 1.
Thank you. House Bill 127 is assigned to Committee Number 3, Revenue. House Bill 147, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 147, property tax exemptions, effect on people's initiative, sponsored by Representative Locke. Aye 56, no 5, excused 1.
House Bill 147 is assigned to Committee Number 3, Revenue. House Bill 23, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 23, engrossed, participation in 6 through 12 activities, sponsored by Education. Aye 57, no 3, excused 2.
House Bill 23 is assigned to Committee Number 4, Education. House Bill 24, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 24, review of charter school applications, sponsored by Education. Aye 57, excused 5.
House Bill 24 is assigned to Committee Number 4, Education. House Bill 25, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 25, Wyoming's Tomorrow Scholarships Program Amendments, sponsored by Education. Aye 36, no 25, excused 1.
House Bill 25 is assigned to Committee Number 4, Education. House Bill 78, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 78, Forest Health Grant Program, sponsored by Water. Aye 61, excused 1.
House Bill 78 is assigned to Committee Number 5, Agriculture. House Bill 87, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 87, Omnibus Water Bill Planning, sponsored by Water. Aye 57, excused 5.
House Bill 87 is assigned to Committee Number 5, Agriculture. House Bill 19, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 19, engrossed, corner crossing clarification, sponsored by Travel. Aye 32, no 28, excused 2.
House Bill 19 is assigned to Committee Number 6, Travel. House Bill 2, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 2, engrossed, Fast Track Permits Act, sponsored by Representative Filer. Aye 53, no 4, excused 5.
House Bill 2 is assigned to Committee Number 7, Corporations. House Bill 22, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 22, engrossed, recall of elected municipal officers, sponsored by Representative Heiner. Aye 57, excused 5.
House Bill 22 is assigned to Committee Number 7, Corporations. House Bill 26, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 26, engrossed, vehicle registration fees, tribal governments, sponsored by Representative Posey. Aye 61, excused 1.
House Bill 26 is assigned to Committee Number 8, Transportation. House Bill 16, first reading of the House Bill.
House Bill 16, engrossed, Secretary of State expedited filings, sponsored by Blockchain. Aye 61, excused 1.
House Bill 16 is assigned to Committee Number 9, Minerals. House Bill 116, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 116, destruction of water is not beneficial use, sponsored by Water. Aye 44, no 17, excused 1.
House Bill 116 is assigned to Committee Number 9, Minerals. House Bill 120, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 120, engrossed, Energy Product Reclassification and Sovereignty Act, sponsored by Representative Campbell. Aye 61, excused 1.
Thank you. House Bill 120 is assigned to Committee Number 9, Minerals. House Bill 41, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 41, engrossed, Wyoming Highway Patrol, DCI, and Warden Retirement Benefits Amendments, sponsored by Representative Webb. Aye 61, excused 1.
House Bill 41 is assigned to Committee Number 10, Labor Health. House Bill 44, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 44, engrossed, Revisers Bill, sponsored by Management Council. Aye 61, excused 1.
House Bill 44 is assigned to Committee Number 12, Rules. Okay. Oh, sure, Senator Steinmetz. Let's see here. There you go.
Thank you, Mr. President. Privilege of the floor.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Fellow senators, I would like to introduce you to the Library of the Year, the Goshen County Library, and Christine Brady is their director. They're doing great things in Goshen County. Give them a warm round of applause.
All right. Welcome to the Senate. Congratulations on being Library of the Year. Introduction of House Budget Bill. House Bill 1, first reading of the bill.
House Bill 1, General Government Appropriations, sponsored by Appropriations. Aye 47, no 14, excused 1.
Thank you. Pursuant to Joint Rule 14-1E, House Bill 1 is referred to Committee Number 2, Appropriations. All right, committees, I know some of you are a little light still on bills, but as soon as I get bills coming in, hopefully this afternoon, I can start filling up your committees with more bills, because some of you only have 1 or 2 bills to work, so. Don't want you getting too comfortable. Reports from standing committees.
Mr. President, dated February 20th, 2026, your Committee Number 2, Appropriations, to whom was referred House Bill 105, engrossed, K through 12 School Facilities Appropriations 2, respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass as amended, voting aye. Senators Driscoll, French, Garou, Larson, and Salazar. Signed, Senator Salazar, Chairman. Mr. President, dated February 20th, 2026, your Committee Number 2, Appropriations, to whom was referred House Bill 107, engrossed, Local Government Distributions, respectfully report same back to the Senate with the recommendation that it do pass as amended, voting aye. Senators Driscoll, French, Garou, Larson, and Salazar. Signed, Senator Salazar, Chairman.
Thank you. Bills on second reading. Oh, geez, is that all? Senate File 21, second reading of the Senate File.
Senate File 21, Wyoming Stable Token Amendments, sponsored by Blockchain.
Senate File 21 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 72, second reading of the Senate File.
Senate File 72, Interstate Teacher Mobility Compact, sponsored by Senator Schuler.
Senate File 72, having been read two separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 92, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 92, Wyoming False Claims Act, sponsored by Senator Nethercott.
Senate File 92, having been read two separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 99, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 99, Prescriptive Easements for Electricity Delivery, sponsored by Senator Cooper.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the amendment?
Senate File 99, second reading, Amendment Number 1, page 6, after line 5.
Senator Steinmetz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fellow senators, I am going to move that we withdraw second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 99. There will be a third reading amendment. We're just trying to get the wording exactly right, working with the good sponsor of the bill and all of those folks who have worked so hard on this very important piece of legislation. So be watching for a third reading amendment.
Senator, could you maybe perhaps ask us kindly to withdraw it?
I
instead
would
of making a
ask
motion?
you kindly to withdraw this amendment again.
Okay. Absent objection, it is so ordered. Second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 99 has been withdrawn. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none, Senate File 99 having been read two separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 102, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 102, Wyoming Energy Transmission Studies, sponsored by Senator Boner.
Senate File 102 having been read two separate times, the question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 104, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 104, Higher Education Research Funding, sponsored by Senator Scott.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the amendment?
Senate File 104, second reading, Amendment Number 1, page 1, line 7.
Senator Scott.
Mr. President, I move adoption of this amendment. Mr. President, this is a cleanup amendment in the appropriations area. As the bill was explained in committee of the whole, the large appropriation here is intended as a one-time appropriation, and that's appropriate, Mr. President, because what we're doing is putting up money for the university matching funds, and that's a classic one-time use where when we have a lot of one-time money, as we do this year because of our big capital gains, that's an appropriate thing to do. And this amendment makes sure that that is classified that way. If the university wants more money in the future, they got to come back with an exception request, which is the normal way you handle things in the budget process. The smaller amendment, which funds the smaller amount, which funds the improved stipends for the graduate assistants, trying to improve the quality of those people, because really they're at a stage in life where money does talk, and we can improve the quality of research greatly that way. That is an ongoing piece of the standard budget if we pass it. So that's what the amendment does, Mr. President. It gets that straightened out so it is in line with that explanation.
Okay, thank you. Discussion on the amendment? Any questions? Discussion on the amendment? Hearing none, we're voting on second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 104. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The amendment has been adopted. Second reading amendment number 2. Point of order?
Money.
Oh, yeah. Chief Clerk?
Or was that fund transfer? I'm trying to figure that out.
Correct. Senator Roth was on the point of order.
On the point of order, it does not increase or decrease the amount of money appropriated. It changes the allocation, how it's appropriated. So in a strict sense, you could potentially, Mr. President, say that that is a change to the appropriation, but I think we've typically accepted that as not being an increase or a decrease change to the appropriation.
Senator Scott, on the point of order?
No, no.
Oh, okay. Senator Case, does that satisfy your inquiry? Okay, thank you. Okay, so second reading amendment number 1, the Senate File 104 has been adopted. Second reading amendment number 2, would the reading clerk please read it in?
Senate File 104, second reading amendment number 2, page line 2, lines 18 through 21.
Senator Scott.
Mr. President, I move adoption of second reading amendment number 2. Mr. President, this is a combination of a cleanup amendment and one item of significant substance. The cleanup, we're removing some of the language describing the kinds of research, make it more generic, make it something where the university has discretion as to what kind of programs they're going to adopt. That's the new language on lines 3 and 4, and deleting the word miscellaneous on page 3, line 11. The next piece cleans up a confusion where we're talking about the division of any profits from research, where somebody gets a patent, say, and some revenue comes in from that. The question was, did that cover ownership too? And yes, it does. The same provisions apply on both. And then the substantive part of the amendment, Mr. President, the bill as it introduced provides that the proceeds are split evenly between the researcher and the university. It's a slight change from the current, but only a slight change, which is a 40-60 split, as I understand. This amendment says, no, we're going to make it 15% to the university and 85% to the researcher. And the point in doing that is right now there's a big incentive for the researcher to make sure any real discoveries are made on private time, and we're getting very little revenue in consequence. This not only makes it attractive to attract new high-quality researchers, it should improve the take that we've got, because right now we're getting 60% of nothing, and we're losing money on the work that's done. This will change that, and frankly, it wasn't my idea, but I thoroughly approve it, and I would encourage my co-sponsor to say a few words, because I think this one has potentially a big payoff to it, but I don't think the bureaucracy is going to like it.
Discussion on the amendment. Senator Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, on and for the amendment, and the good tall senator from Natrona County is exactly right. The system for research at public institutions has been very successful nationwide, but the intellectual property aspect of it, technology transfer and commercialization, has been a struggle, not just at the University of Wyoming, but again, nationwide. So there are the occasional home runs or kind of lottery ticket winners where you develop some intellectual property that ends up making an awful lot of revenue, both for the inventor and for the university. There's a certain drink that many of us probably drink from time to time after we've, say, run, jumped, or played a little bit that is named after a particular university in the southeastern United States. Highly successful. And that is sort of the holy grail of research, to generate intellectual property like that. But it doesn't happen. So most every university in the country, probably well over 90% of the universities, just fail on the technology transfer and commercialization. And as the senator pointed out, a lot of that is because there is not sufficient incentive to the faculty members, to the researchers, to the inventors to do the invention and take it to commercialization, because the university gets most of the revenue. And that's standard everywhere. So the University of Wyoming is doing nothing atypical, Mr. President. We're basically doing what every other university does. Well, we're doing what every other university does, where demonstrably we see that that leads to failure. And it has led to failure for us. So we've generated intellectual property at the University of Wyoming, but commercialization has not been any type of spectacular success. So what ends up happening frequently, Mr. President, is you see circumstances where there is an invention associated with the university, but the inventor will do everything they can to get themselves outside of the university environment to take it to commercialization. And then if it is successful enough, they have enough capital for the lawsuits to ensure that they get to keep the money. So there's a certain search engine that a lot of us use, for example, where there were a lot of consternation between the university that the two individuals that wrote it worked at and that particular university that they went to. So this idea is to just try something entirely different that has a strong chance of success. Take a lower percentage where it's in the inventor's interest to do the work, to commercialize, and to do it in partnership with the university. The inventor gets 85%. And Mr. President, that seems fair, because at the end of the day, the invention itself, that is the thing of value, right? That is the magic. If something is going to really go far, make a lot of money, it's because of the invention. We appreciate the patented intellectual work that goes along with that to ensure that it can be protected, but it is the invention that is the key. So it rewards the inventor and provides them with the incentive. And Mr. President, it would also provide a lot of appeal, because we would be the only would be the only university in the country that would have this type of relationship. So if you're out there, you've got some entrepreneurial ideas that you want to develop at a university, you'd look to the University of Wyoming and you'd say, that's where I need to be, because I'm going to hit it big, and I want to make sure that I get rewarded for that and can work with a university that values it. So this is an attempt at redefining entirely the approach to commercialization of intellectual property at the university, and I'd ask the body's favorable consideration. This could be very exciting. The final thing I'd say, Mr. President, is it's like we talk about when we're talking about minerals. 20% of nothing is nothing. Well, it turns out that 60% of nothing is also nothing, but 15% of something could be an awful lot. And that's what we're looking for here, is to really redefine it and be a national leader in research.
Thank you, Senator Rothfuss. Further discussion on the amendment? Further discussion? Does the sponsor wish to speak again? Is the sponsor around? Oh, there he is. Seeing none, we're voting on second reading amendment number 2 to Senate File 104. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Second reading amendment number 2 to Senate File 104 has been adopted. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none. Senate File 104 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 106, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 106, Welfare Fraud Prevention Act Amendment, sponsored by Senator Biden.
Senate File 106 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 109, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 109, Cowboy State Agricultural Trust Fund, sponsored by Senator Boner.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the amendment?
Senate File 109, second reading, amendment number 1.
Senator Boner.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 109 and ask for the body's favorable consideration. So as a reminder, Senators, this bill deals with how our newly formed committee helps distribute funds from a $10 million fund set aside for helping, for grants for organizations like UW, community colleges, K through 12, Business Council, directly support production agriculture. This amendment goes in and it requires legislative approval for any grants over $200,000. So, Mr. President, I previously stated that we've been using the Animal Damage Management Board as kind of the model for this new way of doing things. This would be more incorporating, say, the Wildlife Natural Resource Trust, something from there, where the legislature has oversight over how these funds are spent. We went $200,000 using the Natural Resource Trust as a guide. And so this is a response to feedback. I've gotten more and more feedback from members of the legislature. We just want to make sure that as this organization grows, that there's some opportunity to continue to engage with the legislative process to make sure that we're staying on track and that this organization or this group of individuals is complying with our intent. So that's the amendment. That's what it does. I look forward to any questions you may have.
Thank you. Discussion on the amendment. Discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, we're voting on second reading amendment number 1, the Senate File 109. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The amendment has been adopted. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none. Senate File 109 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 110, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 110, Residential Property Tax Revision, sponsored by Senator Hicks.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read it in?
Senate File 110, second reading, amendment number 1, page 1, line 7.
Senator Hicks.
Mr. President, I move second reading Amendment 1 to Senate File 110 and provide an explanation and hope favorable consideration. The first part of this line, when we get to page 3, line 14, this is just consistent language from what we currently have with property tax relief. It just brings in that if you're an owner, occupier of a mobile home, modular home, or townhouse, you still get that reduction. The second part of this is more substantive. After working with the Department of Revenue and also the clerks and assessors, it's going to require a little bit of money to upgrade the computer systems to go in there and code this a little bit different. Right now, this is kind of a placeholder for them to be able to do that. They're working with the vendor, but it would take about $500,000 as an estimate. We'll refine that as this moves forward to implement all of the categorizing of those occupied residential properties. Remember, we're doing 2 things here. One, we're implementing the constitutional amendment, taking that from 9.5 to 8.5 or 8.3%. On the constitutional amendment, and then we're reducing those school mills that the state collects. To do that, they've got to go in there and recode all of those computers to get that accurate. And so that's what the appropriation is, Mr. Chairman. If there's no questions, I'd ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you, Senator Hicks. Discussion on the amendment. Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Mr. President. On and for the amendment, but just a point of clarity, good senators, this is an area that I worry that the state is getting gamed pretty heavily. If you think about this, there are 23 systems for the 23 counties and then the state system. And so we need to pay for a programmer to recode the system to add this one component. So, just thinking at it like a lawyer perspective, how many hours does that take that coder? And then once they have the code to add the component, then they just have to do the software update. How many hours does that take to create the software update to equal $500,000? So I'm just curious if you break it down on a per hourly rate, as good lawyers do for every task that they're given to every minute. How do we get that $500,000? Again, I support the amendment, I support the bill, but as we continue to see the software, we're held hostage to the technology, which is all of our reality, both government and private businesses, to really start demanding more, I think, regarding some of these estimates. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Nethercott. Anybody else before the sponsor? Anybody else? Okay, back to you, Senator Hicks, for your second time.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, and I would agree with that. If you saw on the budget, every agency's got that software update. I know in my time, This is one of the biggest budgetary items per agency we deal with. It's just trying to keep up with the technology. The one thing that in my conversations with the Department of Revenue was this will allow them flexibility to upgrade this system and code. These will be consistent with what the county codes, the Department of Revenue, but we have to go in there and recode this because of the residential occupied that we've carved out. That's that constitutional that says we can do a fourth class of property. We've narrowed that down to owner occupied for 8 months. That's gonna take some coding. I'm not a software engineer. I don't know what this stuff costs. Those were rough estimates that we got from the Department of Revenue. Again, as this moves forward, what we hope to do is be able to narrow that down a little closer. Any excess revenues would obviously revert back to the general fund, but that's an estimated cost right now. I share my colleagues' concern, but we're kind of held hostage by these software companies. That's a fact. On and for the amendment.
We're voting on second reading amendment number 1, the Senate File 110. It involves an appropriation. The chief clerk will call the roll.
Second reading amendment number 1 to House Senate File 110. Anderson? Aye. Barlow? Aye. Boner? Aye. Brennan? Aye. Case? No. Cooper? Aye. Crago? Aye. Crum? Aye. Dockstetter? Aye. Driscoll? French? Aye. Garou? Aye. Hicks? Aye. Hutchings? Aye. Aye. Jones? Aye. Cole? Aye. Landon? Aye. Larson? Aye. Love? Aye. McEwen? Aye. Nethercott? Aye. Olson? Aye. Pappas? Aye. Pearson? Aye. Rothfuss? Aye. Salazar? Aye. Schuler? Aye. Scott? Aye. Steinmetz? Aye. Driscoll?
Is he out there?
Driscoll? Driscoll, aye. President Biteman?
Aye.
Aye. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 110, 30 aye, 1 no.
Second reading amendment number 1 has been adopted. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none, Senate File 110 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 111, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 111, Select Committee on Gaming, sponsored by Senator Cole.
Senate File 111 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 113, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 113, 2026 General Election Hand Count Comparison, sponsored by Senator Crago.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the amendment?
Senate File 113, second reading, amendment number 1, page 1, above line 1.
Senator Crago.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 113. Ask for your favorable consideration. Mr. President, if you remember last week on Committee of the Whole, I asked the body to vote down the standing committee amendment because it did not read incorrectly, and so I worked with our good staff and fixed that issue, and so this is essentially the standing committee amendment drafted so it reads in correctly. And what it does, Mr. President, is clarifies in the title that this applies to both the primary and general election, and then also requires a report from our good Secretary of State to the Corporations Committee, regardless of the results of the audit, and it's that simple. Ask for your favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Discussion on the amendment. Discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, we're voting on second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 113. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The amendment has been adopted. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none, Senate File 113 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate File 116, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 116, Surface Water Drainage Utilities, sponsored by Senator Crum.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read in the amendment?
Senate File 116, second reading amendment number 1, page 2, lines 15 through 18.
Senator Schuler.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would move second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 116 and ask for your favorable consideration. I'm just going to read the amendment. The diversion of management of surface water runoff in compliance with the Surface Water Drainage Utility Act. A governing body shall not fund a surface water diversion or management program through the imposition of a tax or through the incurrence of general obligation indebtedness backed by the taxing power of the municipality unless the proposition has been submitted to and approved by the electors. This last, in accordance with law. This last sentence is really the most important one. For purposes of this subparagraph, general obligation indebtedness shall not include revenue obligations payable solely from system revenue, intergovernmental grants, or financing provided through the state loan programs. The idea behind this, and I visited with the sponsor of the bill, is it does provide some clarity to our cities and towns without harming anyone. And I think obviously this needs more work. Obviously the whole system that we've had lots of discussions with cities and towns. So I don't know if the water folks are going to study it or corporations or whomever, but obviously we need to study this issue a little bit more further. But I think this amendment helps provide the clarity that we need with our cities and towns, and again, not harming any of the other 97 that have not had the issues that some of our other bad actors have. So with that, I would ask you to vote for this amendment.
Thank you. Discussion on the amendment. Senator Crum.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple of things to remind the body, kind of on the overall bill in this amendment. Remember, this bill is about the clarifying between section 15 and 16 of the statute. And in 16, remember the body, it says, a governing body shall not fund surface water utility until the proposition to impose the means of financing surface water drainage utility has been submitted to and adopted by the electors of proposed surface water drainage area under this subsection. So really we're talking about taking an issue of constructing a stormwater drainage system to the voters according to the statute. So that's the big picture we're talking about. This amendment, I would urge a no vote. This amendment allows for the putting in fees on it and not allowing the electorate to look at how we build a stormwater drainage system. I'd like to talk a little bit about fees, Mr. President. Fees, if you remember, are for services that are provided. Things like water provided to your house, trash removal of your personal sewage. Those you pay fees on. Other things are funded by taxes. Streets, fire, police, parks, those types of things are funded through taxes, which stormwater, according to the statute, falls under that. So remember, they're funded by taxes. So if we pass this, we're really passing what I would call a rain tax with unchecked top on it. I know we're looking at some other bills out there that allow for councils and things to do things on it, but they're capped through a top-end mill levy. They're tapped through a dollar amount, those type of things. If this amendment passes, there's no cap to it. And we have seen in example on the great gem city over the hill, proposed $130 million project without any real voter approval to it. So this would open that up. Well, a couple cities around the state have backed off on those things because this bill was introduced. If we pass this amendment, there's a real chance that those could go back in effect. So I would ask you to think about what a really fee is for and what a tax is for. In our this body in previous form has chosen that this was a tax. This amendment is not to be construed as single parts,
you know, we want to look at single parts of the statute and not look at other parts, 15 and not look at 16. Well, the Supreme Court, as we've talked about many, many times, has said you've got to look at legislation and our statutes and laws as a whole, not as individual parts. So I ask you to remember that we can't just pick and choose what we want under the statute. We've got to look at the whole part. And lastly, Mr. President, again, I would ask for a no vote on this amendment. Put this in the most local control we can, and that's under the voters, because there is no upper end check on this, which I have talked many, many times to the community's lobbying group about putting in, and since for many months, and they have not chosen to do that. So I would ask for a no vote on this amendment.
Thank you. Further discussion? Let's go to Senator Rothfuss next.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, you know, I actually have concerns about the bill and like some of the concepts in this amendment, but I'm going to be a no on the amendment because in my view, the amendment really does change the bill outside of the bill's intent. And from my perspective, right, we have to hold to that standard regardless of whether we like the amendment or not. And candidly, Mr. President, I'm just fine with the amendment. I think it actually improves it. But going back to that constitutional standard of what we're supposed to do, to me, the amendment kind of reverses the bill and changes it in a fundamental way where it doesn't do what the bill's intent is. So from my perspective, from the constitutional standpoint, I feel we're obligated to vote no on the bill. I'm going to vote no on, or I'm not, no on the amendment. I'm going to vote no on the bill, but I think it's important that we uphold those standards. And particularly, we know when it's always a good test when the prime sponsor starts to sound like they're going to vote against the bill if the amendment passes. You can start thinking, all right, well, maybe this amendment is outside of the intent of the bill, and I think we're at that point, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too am on and against this bill with the comments made from the two good senators from over the hill. I like the bill as well, too. The reason I liked it is because it didn't have fees, taxes. I think this is legitimately a rain tax and on and against the bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thanks. We're on the amendment. Senator Kolb.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. On and against the amendment, I like to reference everyone back to 1610-105A, and it outlines the beginning of a district like this. How do you form it? And it has clearly, it states the boundaries must be stated when that question went to the voters. So how could we then just expand it to whatever point without another vote from the voters? So I think fundamentally, this amendment certainly doesn't going to work, but more to the point, the bill's purpose. The bill's purpose is to give clear definition that when you change the boundaries, you have to go back to the voters and ask them if they want to do that or not. And I think it's purely a voters' rights issue that we check this. And also the bill has a mechanism built into it to deal with current projects that they've encumbered in a way to unwind that. So on and against the amendment, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I'll pile on. I agree with both my good senators from Albany County and Sweetwater County. I think the amendment has some big flaws, but then I think the bill does as well. I know, and I spoke with my good seatmate here from Albany County, and I know his issues, and I agree with a lot of them. The issue, though, is that I don't think it's going to be resolved by this amendment or the bill. I think it's got to be resolved with some time. Now, I know tonight my city is going to be introducing a provision in City Council to postpone any of this until after the next legislative session. Okay, I've discussed it with our leaders in the town council, and I know Laramie is, the city over the hill is going to be repealing that as well. And so I think we need to work on this in the interim and come to consensus how we deal with this. Because number one, I think it's a tax too and not a fee. I think that's a big problem. But I think people, our constituents, should have a voice in these huge expenditures. We have to find a mechanism to do that. So, and I don't think this bill will do it. So I'll be a no on the, I'll be a yes on the amendment, but a no on the bill.
Okay. Discussion before the sponsor. Senator Kolb for your second time.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Just to kind of add on to that thought about the need for the bill and what it does, it certainly is addressing a statutory issue that exists in our green books. This isn't anything new. I don't know as we have to study it any more than what we have in front of us for a bill. It merely addresses the issue and clarifies it and gives a way forward for our local municipalities. So I think it's necessary. I don't want to kick it off to an interim, which is the current kiss of death for many things. I think there's something in front of us that works. On and against the amendment, on and for the bill.
Okay, discussion on the amendment. Senator Pappas, you want to talk about the amendment for the second time?
Technical correction. I'm against both.
Okay. We're on the amendment. Anybody else before the sponsor? Seeing none, Senator Schuler.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good points everyone's made. And the bottom line is, we know this bill is a bill about one city generally, for the most part, maybe two. And we've passed legislation to deal with that in the past, one of our cities up north. I don't like doing it. So again, I don't like the bill, but I've tried to bring a couple of amendments. I think the sponsor brought one that I think helped a little bit. I thought this one might help as well. I think the thing we have to talk about and think about is these folks that we elect, our city councilmen and our mayors, our county commissioners, we've got to have a little bit of trust that they follow the law, and they do. And the bottom line is, whenever let's just say there's an issue in a town where there's a water line break, whatever, I know this is surface water, but, they may have to go to the voters and pass an ordinance to say we might have to raise our water fees. The ordinance is basically the same thing. There has to be 3 readings of an ordinance on a city council before they can make these kinds of changes. So ordinances, that's why they're there. I'm worried about the fact that if we open this up with this bill, then are we gonna have to go to the voters when they wanna get a business license, or they wanna do something other than that? I mean, it just seems kind of silly. Have some faith and some trust in our councils to do the right thing. I realize this is some bad actors over on the city over the hill, but I don't think we should pass legislation, and I think this amendment will help that bill. If we don't get this amendment through, I'm certainly not gonna be for the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. We're voting on second reading amendment number 1, the Senate File 116. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. No. The amendment has failed. Second reading amendment number 2 to Senate File 116. Will the reading clerk please read it in?
Senate File 116, second reading amendment number 2, page 2, lines 15 through 18.
Senator Crum.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd move a second reading amendment on Bill 116, number 2, and ask for your favorable consideration.
Okay.
This is just a cleanup amendment, and visiting with the attorneys in 3 places on page 3, it says surface water, and we just want to add the word runoff, so it says surface water runoff, and that's the whole amendment. It's just a cleanup in 3 different places on page 3.
Okay, thank you. Discussion on the amendment. Question being called. We're voting on second reading amendment number 2 to Senate File 116. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The amendment has been adopted. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none. Senator Nethercott.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, good senators, I think, as I mentioned before Friday, and mentioned again today, it is always dangerous when legislation is brought because of the bad actors of a minority of the cities and towns in our state. The capital city is one of those. the home of the university is the other. And those two municipalities got ahead of themselves and got a huge response from our constituents. There's not a single resident within the capital city that I'm aware of, both business and residential, that is satisfied with what has happened, and they are upset. And I'm not sure that when we gave them this authority that we contemplated the exercise of discretion that they utilized. And so now we're here today. And so the other 98 cities and towns are panicked that they will have an inability to properly manage stormwater. And that's a very dangerous thing. In the city of Cheyenne, that's killed people before. We have lost citizens because of a failure to properly manage stormwater. This is a significant issue for the safety of the citizens of Wyoming, but also for our cities and towns to exercise the power that we grant them judiciously. It is my opinion that this bill can't move forward. I want to make that clear to everybody who's pushing, particularly me and others, in very different ways. It has to go to an interim topic for further evaluation with our colleagues across the state and with our residents. We have received promises from the leaders of the home of the university and the capital city where they have stepped forward and taken lawful action to repeal their exercise of power by taking away the current assessed fees, and a promise and a commitment to work on this issue moving forward. They heard us loud and clear. If they fail on that promise, I think that they're aware that the consequences are immense. And that's the power of the legislature. But there is a danger in the legislature's interference with local municipal governance when it only reflects a minority of those 99 cities and towns. So our municipalities that are the bad actors here have responded accordingly with the promise to work with the legislature to provide solutions. I think rather than endangering those other 98, 97, we consider letting this go to an interim, which is a temporary kiss of death, of course, but it is a commitment to work together with our local governments. That's what we do. And so that's my position. I want to make that very clear, that I do not support this bill continuing to move forward. And it has caused a lot of challenges, but I am committed to working this issue with that very strong warning to my own capital city. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Further discussion, Senator Boner.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since we're having this discussion on second reading, and just add a little bit more color on the Select Water Committee, I'm glad to hear that the two offending municipalities are saying that they're going to withdraw, their whatever they've done that's caused such a controversy. I had that request to them 6 weeks ago when this issue went before the Select Committee. And so just maybe a little bit more discussion, a little bit more information as to the timeline as to when that may be finalized. I think that, it seems like they could have potentially done that a little bit sooner than this bill being introduced. And this mechanism may be the only amount of leverage we have over them since that idea was proposed. And it seems like they didn't even want to discuss taking a step back until this bill is introduced in the legislature. So I think we're all driving towards the same point, the same conclusion, but it seems to me that this was a discussion that's been ongoing for a month and a half, this very specific idea of them taking a step back now to help resolve the issue, give us time. So I'm just wondering if there's any concrete information that we may have as to what exactly those next steps are, when is it going to take place? Because it seems like this bill is the only mechanism to bring any sort of accountability so far.
Thank you. Senator Rothfuss.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. It's my understanding that my community has already formally withdrawn it and that it will not move forward without this process taking place. So it's not an instantaneous thing. We all know that. We can't do things instantly either. So I think they've been working on it, discussing it. They've certainly heard from the public, from our constituents, and have taken that into account, taken the concern into account, taken the legislation into the account, and then through their processes, they've gotten to the point where they've withdrawn it. So from the perspective of my community, it is resolved in an appropriate way that it can go to an interim and be studied, and I think a lot of that is credit to my colleague across town and his efforts. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Cole.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I think what I've heard is the large state of affairs, the general practice in our state is for people not to follow the current statutes. It's clear. It's clear by all the lobbying that's been going on, that they're very concerned about it because of what they've been doing currently. Now, it's great that we have people in some areas that have said, okay, wait a moment, we'll relook at this. However, when that leadership changes, what are the next group of folks going to do and say? I think it's going to lead us inevitably to the same position unless we address it now and deal with it. And I see no issue in my mind that we're moving a bill like this forward because it does solve a problem that's obviously come up. And I respect the larger communities that apparently some people have focused on, but I've gotten comments from all my towns, and I don't think they were doing anything, nefarious, but it's an issue with statutes. And I think clearly if we don't stick to our system of the voters having a right to approve or disapprove an expansion of said district, I think, I don't feel like I'm doing them a service here. So on and for the bill, Mr. Vice President.
Other discussion? Yes. Let's start with Senator Hicks.
Mr. Chairman, on and for the bill, and what I think we've had is not a situation where we're trying to write legislation for specific entities. What I think we've had specific entities that found a loophole in our law. So if you just read the bill, we go into one section of law, and then we go into the other section of law, and they're a little bit conflicting. And what it effectively did is it allowed the municipalities to pick or choose which one they wanted. And so the only thing the bill really remedies, it just makes a conforming requirement that you have to comply with both laws. And so I don't disagree that this can be resolved in the interim, but at the same time, it's just closing in a loophole. And so I represent probably more municipalities than anybody in here, with an average population of about 400. And they've got stormwater problems too. This doesn't affect them in the big scope of things. So I really think what we need to focus here is not on which entity, big entity, municipality. It's just closing a loophole that we created in the legislature that kind of say, you get to pick or choose. And the only thing we're going to do with this bill is saying, you're going to follow a process. You can implement the existing statutes in context of what's already in the statute. So it's just closing that loophole is all it does. The negotiations and the discussions can go on, and if there's a better solution to that, then by all means, let's have this discussion next year. But it's doing nothing more than saying you don't get to pick and choose, you got to follow both.
Senator Crum.
Mr. Vice President, thank you. I think we're getting a little confused too, and Senator Hicks kind of hit on it, what the bill is. The bill really is only about this, that the diversion of management of surface water runoff is in compliance with the Surface Water Drainage Utility Act and after the election as required under Wyoming Statute 1610-105. All it is just a clarification bill saying we got two different places where a statute related to surface water drainage is, that you must follow both. That's all this thing is saying. It's not creating new law. It's not trying, I think there's a misconception. It's creating a whole bunch of new laws. It's not doing that at all. It's just making a clarification statement about what it is. I think the conversation about, Mr. President, the conversation about our interim committee is not a bad one, but I don't think it's germane to what we're talking about today. I think we're talking about the bill. It's certainly up to you and whether we have or have not a committee to look at this later. But we're talking about this bill on the floor today and hopefully tomorrow, that all we're doing is make a clarification on language, that if this takes place the way the law is written, it goes to the voters. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Okay, we talked that one out. Senate File 116 having been read two separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection is so ordered. Senate File 117, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 117, zoning protest petition amendment sponsored by Senator Pappas.
Senate File 117 having been read two separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, is so ordered. Senate File 121, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 121, Wyoming Pharmacy Act Amendment sponsored by Senator Dockstader.
Senate File 121 having been read two separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, is so ordered. Senator Love.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor, please.
Sure.
I'm not sure if our Sunrise Elementary 5th and 6th graders are still standing back here, are they? Okay,
Looks
they
like-
did leave, sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Senate File 125, second reading of the Senate file.
Senate File 125, Wyoming Business Council Amendment sponsored by Senator Crum.
There is an amendment. Would the reading clerk please read it in?
Senate File 125, second reading, amendment number 1, page 6, line 6.
Senator Steinmetz.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 125 and ask for your favorable consideration. Fellow Senators, what this amendment does, it goes into, first off, on page 8, under General Powers and Duties of the Council, and this is the Wyoming Business Council, it attempts to line it up with Article 16, Section 6 of the Wyoming Constitution. It creates a new subsection D, and particularly Romanet I, any grant awarded by, administered by, or passed through the council shall only be for a public purpose. For the purposes of this paragraph, public purpose means an expenditure primarily serving the public health, safety, or general welfare, and that results in a direct public benefit of a reasonably general character, evidenced by public ownership, public control, or enforceable public use conditions proportionate to the public funds provided. That's what the basic gist of it. Then in Romanet 3, it says any financial aid or other financial assistance under this act that directly or indirectly benefits private, individual, association, or corporation shall be provided only as a repayable loan or loan guarantee and shall not be provided as a grant. Then on page 14, line 14, it applies the same conditions to the Business Ready Community Program. This is obviously a policy choice for the body. That's what I'm attempting to do. I'd ask for your favorable consideration.
Thank you. Discussion on the amendment. Senator Nethercott.
On and against the amendment. Good senators, I urge your strong resistance of this particular amendment. It has profound consequences throughout the state of Wyoming's programs, ones that have recently been passed, if you fully support those, regarding how the state can provide funds to different entities for different purposes. It should be noted that Constitutional 16.6 is not unique to Wyoming. In fact, I bear to say that almost all 50 states have it. It's been interpreted very clearly that it does allow for the purposes of economic development for those state funds. So I appreciate the concern to try to now, 50 years later, try to make it constitutional for this concern, but it's really causing some serious damage to any pending cases or any current programs currently underway using state funds. A direct benefit is particularly dangerous, so I understand the intent of the bringer of the amendment, but I strongly urge your resistance to this amendment and the significant legal complications it could present to the state of Wyoming.
Thank you. Further discussion on the amendment. Senator Ide.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. I'm actually honored for this amendment. I don't think we should have a Wyoming Business Council, period, but I think this puts some restrictions on public use instead of corporate welfare. So I'm honored for the amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Senator Scott.
Mr. President, on and against the amendment. I don't see anything in 16.6 that speaks to this public benefit concept. It says you can't make loans, grants to individuals and corporations, except for the necessary support of the poor. Now, when we're, Mr. President, when we're dealing with something where there is a public benefit and we want to get that benefit, we contract for the specific service that we're interested in. That's been done, that's routine, but that's not a loan or a grant, that's a contract for services. I'm afraid this amendment is an attempt to gut section 16.6, and I think it does open the door to considerable mischief, where I suspect sooner or later we'll come to grief in a court.
Thank you. Further discussion on the amendment? Back to you, Senator Steinmetz, for your second time.
Thank you, Mr. President. So if you get out your constitutions, when the citizens of Wyoming adopted this, it's in Article 16, Section 12, Economic Development Loan Fund. And it talks about, notwithstanding Article 3, Section 36, or Article 16, Sections 1, 2, and 6 of the Constitution, the legislature by 2/3 vote can vote and may vote separately to not exceed 1% times the assessed valuation, all of this. But it's basically an investment loan fund for loan guarantees and loans proposed. And then under Section 13, under Article 16, it also talks about economic powers for the counties and municipalities, and it's the same thing. It contemplated a loan fund, it never contemplated grants, and a contract for services are separate than what you're talking about with the grant. And so that, I just would like us to line up with our Constitution if we're going to continue to do this. If we want to provide grants to private businesses like we have been, we should probably have a vote of the people in order to do that and change some of the language of our Constitution. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd ask for an aye vote on this amendment.
Thank you, Senator. We're voting on second reading amendment number 1 to Senate File 125. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. No. Amendment has failed. We're back on the bill. Discussion on the bill. Seeing none. Senate File 125 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection is so ordered. Senate Joint Resolution 5, second reading of the joint resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution 5, Convention of States, sponsored by Senator Driscoll.
Senate Joint Resolution 5 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, it is so ordered. Senate Joint Resolution 6, second reading of the joint resolution.
Senate Joint Resolution 6, Shared Parenting Day, sponsored by Senator Pearson.
Senate Joint Resolution 6 having been read 2 separate times. The question is, shall the bill be read a third time? Hearing no objection, is so ordered. Bills on third reading and final passage. Oh, before we go to third reading, Senator Love.
Mr. President, privilege of the floor again.
Floor is yours.
Ladies and gentlemen, up here above us, we have Platte County 1 and Platte County 2 school districts. So Platte County 2, we have Shauna Riker, Robert Ibarra, Sarah Safing, and then Platte 1, we have Lou Lay, Sean Hoffman, and Amanda Fox. Welcome to the Senate. Thank you very much for all that you do for our communities.
Welcome to the Senate. Bills on third reading and final passage. Madam Majority Floor Leader, do you have a consent list?
Mr. President, I move third reading consent list as follows. Senate File 22, Unincorporated Nonprofit Associations Amendments. Senate File 26, Game and Fish Property Tax Exemption Amendments. Senate File 35, School District Cell Phone and Smartwatch Policies. Senate File 54, State Banks and SBDI Conversions. Senate File 55, Special Purpose Depository Institution Amendments. Senate File 56, Kratom Product Regulation, Senate File 59, K through 12 Language and Literacy Program, Senate File 69, Waste and Stormwater Infrastructure Study, Senate File 85, Raven Act, Senate File 87, Felony Interference with a Police Officer Amendments, Senate File 90, School Facilities Use Fees, Senate File 95, Drivers and Motor Vehicle Services Third-Party Providers, Senate File 96, Tobacco Sales and Taxation, Senate File 119, Strategic Investments and Projects Account Repeal 2, Senate File 123, Wyoming Energy Dominance Fund, and Senate Joint Resolution 9, Keeping Public Lands Protected and Decisions Local.
Thank you, Madam Majority Floor Leader. Would anybody like any of these bills removed from the consent? Seeing none. Having been read 3 separate times, the question is, shall these bills pass the Senate? Senate File 22, Unincorporated Nonprofit Associations Amendments. Senate File 26, Game and Fish Property Tax Exemption Amendments. Senate File 35, School District Cell Phone and Smartwatch Policies. Senate File 54, State Banks and SPDI Conversions. Senate File 55, Special Purpose Depository Institution Amendments. Senate File 56, Kratom Product Regulation. Senate File 59, K-12 Language and Literacy Program. Senate File 69, Waste and Stormwater Infrastructure Study. Senate File 85, Raven Act. Senate File 87, Felony Interference with a Police Officer Amendments. Senate File 90, School Facilities Use Fees. Senate File 95, Drivers and Motor Vehicle Services Third-Party Providers. Senate File 96, Tobacco Sales and Taxation. Senate File 119, Strategic Investments and Project Accounts Repeal 2. Senate File 123, Wyoming Energy Dominance Fund. And Senate Joint Resolution 9, Keeping Public Lands Protected and Decisions Local. The Chief Clerk will please call the roll.
On the consent list, Anderson. Barlow. Boner. Brennan. Case. Cooper. Crago. Crum. Dockstetter. Driscoll. French. Guru. Hicks. Hutchings. Ide. Jones. Cole. Landon. Larson. Love. McEwen. Nethercott. Olson. Pappas. Pearson. Rothfuss. Salazar. Schuler. Scott. Steinmetz. President Beitman.
Aye.
On the consent list, 31 aye. Senate File 22, are there any changes? Aye. Aye to no. Hutchings? No. Pearson? No. Steinmetz? No. McEwen?
No.
No. French?
No.
No. Closing vote? Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 22, 25 aye, 6 no. Senate File 26, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 26, 31 aye. Senate File 35, are there any changes? Aye? Aye to no. Case? Aye to no. Steinmetz? Aye to no. Pearson? Aye to no.
Beitman, no.
Beitman, aye to no. McEwen? Aye to no. Closing vote. Closing vote closed. Senate File 35, 25 aye, 6 no. Senate File 54, are there any changes? Hutchings? No. Pearson? No. Steinmetz? No. French? No. No. Closing vote? Closing vote closed. Senate File 54, 27 aye, 4 no. Senate File 55, are there any changes? Aye? Aye to no. Hutchings? No. Pearson? No. Steinmetz? No. McEwen? No. No. Closing vote. Closing vote closed. Senate File 55, 26 aye, 5 no. Senate File 56, are there any changes? Aye? Aye to no. Larson? No. Closing vote. Closing vote closed. Senate File 56, 29 aye, 2 no. Senate File 59, are there any changes? Scott? No. Closing vote. Closing. Case no. Vote closed. Senate File 59, 29 aye, 2 no. Senate File 69, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 69, 31 aye. Senate File 85, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 85, 31 aye. Senate File 87, are there any changes? Case aye to no. Rothfuss? Aye to no. Guru? Aye to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 87, 28 aye, 3 no. Senate File 90, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 90, 31 aye. Senate File 95, are there any changes? Aye? Aye to no. Pearson? Aye to no. Rothfuss? Aye to no. McEwen? Aye to no. French? Aye to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 95, 26 aye, 5 no. Senate File 96, are there any changes? Case aye to no. Steinmetz? Aye to no. Rothfuss? Aye to no. Hutchings? No. Boner? No. Pearson? No. Jones? No. Salazar? No. Aye? No. Olson? No. McEwen? No. Schuler? No. Dockstetter? No. Scott? No. Brennan? No. Hicks? No. And Larson? No. Love? No. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 96, 13 aye, 18 no. Senate File 119, are there any changes? Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 119, 31 aye. Senate File 123, are there any changes? Aye? Aye to no. Pearson? Aye to no. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate File 123, 29 aye, 2 no. And SJ9, are there any changes? Larson? Aye to no. Aye? No. French? No. McEwen? No. Closing vote. Closing. Vote closed. Senate Joint Resolution 9, 27 aye, 4 no.
Having received the affirmative vote of the majority of the members elected to the Senate, Senate File 22, unincorporated nonprofit association amendments. Senate File 26, game and fish property tax exemption amendments. Senate File 35, school district cell phone and smartwatch policies. Senate File 54, state banks and SPDI conversions. Senate File 55, special purpose depository institution amendments. Senate File 56, Kratom product regulations. Senate File 59, K-12 language and literacy program. Senate File 69, waste and stormwater infrastructure study. Senate File 85, Raven Act. Senate File 87, felony interference with a police officer amendments. Senate File 90, school facilities use fees. Senate File 95, drivers and motor vehicle services third-party providers. Senate File 119, strategic investments and project accounts repeal 2. Senate File 123, Wyoming Energy Dominance Fund. And Senate Joint Resolution 9, keeping public lands protected and decisions local, have passed the Senate. Senate File 96, having failed to receive the affirmative vote of the majority of the members elected to the Senate, Senate File 96 has failed to pass the Senate. Madam Majority Floor Leader, it's about a good time to break for lunch.
Mr. President, I move that the Committee of the Whole beg leave, I'm sorry, Mr. President, I move that we stand recessed until 2 p.m.
Okay. Announcements. Senator Brennan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Senate Committee Number 10, Labor, Health, and Social Services, will meet at 12:20. That's 20 minutes to get lunch. Committee 12:20 to take up House Bill 4, Birthing Centers Medicaid Coverage.
Thank you. Senator Pappas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, your Transportation, Highways, and Military Affairs Committee will meet tomorrow morning, February 24th at 8 a.m. in the Capitol Extension Room W002 and online to consider the following bills. House Bill 32 engrossed, English proficiency commercial motor vehicle drivers, and House Bill 26 engrossed, vehicle registration fees, tribal governments.
Thank you. Senator McEwen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your Revenue Committee will meet at 12:30 in room number 6 to take up House Bill 45, long-term homeowner tax exemption revisions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Senator Anderson.
Mr. President, your favorite committee, Minerals and Economic Development, will meet about 12:30 in room W004 and online. We will take up House Bill 5, Oil and Gas Bonding Pool Investment and Earnings. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Salazar.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Appropriations will be meeting at 12:30 in E202. We'll be discussing HB 001, General Government Appropriations 2.
Thank you. Further announcements? Further announcements, seeing none, you've all heard the majority floor leader's motion. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. Motion carries. Senate will stand recessed till 2 p.m.